here in Usyk's camp, he's had 5 different sparring partners, mullering every one of them to the point where he's had to take it down to 6 rounds, and the guys are like pulling out. This is from 2 of his sparring partners. And they're big guys. And these 2 sparring partners, they don't see it going any other way. So I'm hearing one thing from one camp and one thing from another. I want the Brit to win, but I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. So common sense is Tyson Fury that turned up against Usyk.
Those are the words of Johnny Nelson. As I don't know if you guys heard exactly what Johnny Nelson said. That's why I included the closed caption for you guys. And according to his sources, okay, and his sources are 2 sparring partners on Usyk's side that is reporting that Usyk is mauling these sparring partners. I mean, mauling them. Taking them and picking them apart to the point where they have to go 6 rounds because they're pulling out because they don't want to go a full 12. Wow. Listen, if it's true, I think it's true. However, are those sparring partners Tyson Fury? No. They're not Tyson Fury, though. Bars. But that shows you that Usyk is training like he always prepares for each and every challenge, and he knows that Tyson Fury is one hell of a challenge, or he should be. And here's the thing. When people give you the reputation of being the best, the official, or, the best heavyweight in the world, why wouldn't you train like the Dickens to prepare for that fight? The things that Oleksandr Usyk does, he does these unorthodox Ukrainian experimental type things anyway, as you've seen, the team of Papachenko and company. And as they do certain things, brain exercises and balance exercises and juggles and, card games and numbers and all these type of things that prepare them. And you see how they're just a bit ahead of most people when it comes to competition. You know what I mean? And to me, yeah, I know that the skill is there, but I think the preparation amplifies the skill of anybody. That's anybody. And you can say, oh man, well, I didn't train hard enough. Well, how about maybe you didn't know to train to a certain level because you never had to train to that certain level to fight or to defeat certain people. And that may be what Usyk and his team, I think that's what they're doing. I think they've compared and prepared themselves for so many different scenarios to the point when they're in there, they're okay. They're already ready to go because they've done the hard work in the gym. That's how it's supposed to flow, and it makes it that much interesting to see Oleksandr Usyk do that, sparring heavy, big guys like that, but I do think it is difficult, okay, before people start parading. I think it's difficult to find sparring partners for Tyson Fury that big that can move that way, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because I think, if anything, Tyson Fury is an anomaly for how he is, but he's not faster than the little guy. I still think the little guy, or should I say the smaller guy, because hell, they're both bigger than me, kind of, right? So I think those guys, finding someone for that, I think he is faster. I think he will be quicker. I think he will be a little bit, the edge will go to him on speed in that category, But to hear Johnny Nelson leak that Usyk's mauling guys and beating them up to the point where, hey, they're pulling out. Well, if they're pulling out, that means they ain't trying to earn their check due to the fact that Oleksandr Usyk is giving them Hades in that ring. Ding, ding, right? So, it's kind of, it's interesting. It's exciting to hear, though. You know what I mean? And it just lets you know that Usyk's not playing any games, bro. He's not playing any games. He might joke around, and that's just kind of like his, that other side of Usyk. But then there's another side to that cat. You know what I mean? It's another side to Usyk. That's what made me pick Usyk. The way he looks at people, that hey, I'm going to kill you. I'm gonna love you after it's over, but in the ring, I'm going do or die with you. We're gonna go balls to the wall. And I'll tell you this little story before jumping off of here. I remember the performances, and I can see the performances between the first Joshua fight and the second Joshua fight. The first and second were two different people. The first Joshua Usyk fight, Usyk fought Joshua. He was a little quicker. He was a little sharper. Now, he was equally aggressive. But in the second one, you can tell he was a little bit more sloppier with his combination. He wasn't that same dude that he was in the first fight. You know what I mean? Even though, yeah, he went balls to the wall, but he was a little bit more sloppy. I don't know if that had anything to do with training or the lack of training, or you remember the rumor that he lost 20 pounds when he was over there in the Ukraine fighting Russia and all that stuff. I don't know, but I can tell you this. I compare that to the last time he was in the ring. When was the last time he was in the ring? Okay, when he fought Dubois. Well, he didn't look as chiseled, right? He didn't look as chiseled as he did in the first Joshua fight. You know, in the second Joshua fight, he looked a little sloppy. In the third one, he looked like he was aging a bit. Not too much to do the job that he does, but he didn't look like he looked in 2021 when he first dethroned Anthony Joshua and became the unified heavyweight champion of the world. He just didn't look that same guy. He looked different. You know, but you have to respect the age versus the ability to fight at that age, to still do things at a certain age. You just got to take your hat off. And I'm glad this fight is happening now instead of next year, that next year after that. I really preferred it to happen in 2022 before the war, honestly. But nonetheless, you know, Usyk knows how to train, and this is a part of his preparation. Now, this is what I want to hear about Tyson Fury, how his camp is going. But regardless of what you hear, what matters is what happens when they get in the ring together. But you guys tell me what you think of Johnny Nelson revealing that the sparring partners leaked that Usyk is mauling sparring partners, causing them to fight shorter distances and rounds because they're pulling out. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!